Yes, welcome back to the Football Terrace. Thank you very much for tuning in. Paul Pogba is set for a sensational U-turn. He is now willing to restart conversations and discuss signing a new deal at Manchester United, according to various reports this morning. Andy Minton started the conversation yesterday evening in an interview that he conducted. And the headlines are that Pogba is reportedly open to ending speculation about his Manchester United future. I'm reading it, that's why I'm looking that way. Future, and he's willing to discuss a new contract with the club. The Frenchman's contract situation has been rarely out of the headlines since his 12-month extension was triggered under Oli last year. That means he'll be tied to the club until the end of next season. Remember, there's the rest of this year and next season. This summer is pivotal for Manchester United, as it will be the last opportunity for them to recoup money for the player. Pogba sparks concerns that he was trying to force an exit when he admitted it would be his dream move to join the Spanish champions Real Madrid, along with other along with his agent Managerial. There have been many doubts to suggest that his United career was over. His presence in the Man United dressing room has amplified in recent weeks, with the World Cup winners' absence through injury coinciding with the loss of form. Listen, Pogba's presence in the dressing room has always been massive at Manchester United. The rumors that he is a distracting figure, a bad character, a bad egg, have always been debunked as nonsense. This is the 27-year-old who is was struggling for minutes at the start of the season, enjoyed somewhat of a United renaissance over the festive period, stringing together a number of impressive performances. That's what the media is saying. I think he's always been pretty good. It says here that just to express an opinion, I don't think that's it. It goes, and now United.know a report that Pogba is open to extending his stay and is willing to start talks over a potential new deal. The update just came weeks after Solskjaer admitted there had been an open dialogue between the club and the player, with a discussion on his future needing to be made in the coming months. Solskjaer said that we've got a good open dialogue with Paul, so what we talk about and how we see that situation remains between us. Our conversations remain private, of course, but for example, Paul is a Manchester United player through and through. He's been here in 2 spells. He came as a kid. He's learned about the history of the club and the passion of the club, and he wants to do his best for United when he is here, and I think we have seen that. And I agree with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer there 110%. But this is another report that he's looking to stay. I want your views and opinions on this. I want your views and opinions. Social media in relation to Paul Pogba has been absolutely popping in recent weeks. I've seen speculation of, the club's dead if he leaves. Like, if he leaves, it's over, it's finished, we're kaput. I've seen elements of we're only struggling now because Pogba's out. We need him desperately. I've seen the other end of the spectrum, people still claiming he's this virus, that he is poisonous, that he is holding the club back. I'm still seeing that in so many ways from so many different fans. Will he stay? Will he go? Do you want him to? That's the big question for you, the viewers, today. In terms of United.know and Andy Minton reporting this, listen, I trust Andy Minton to the point where I don't think he's going to tell us information that he doesn't believe to be true. You can call in right now to have your say. The link to dial into the show has already been shared on our Discord server. The link to our Discord server is, of course, in the description below. Do me a big favor and make sure you're smashing that like button this morning for us as well, and sharing this stream on your social media platforms. Ruba here says Pogba news is to drum up traction during the COVID market. Well, that's the other rumor that I've heard from people. That Paul Pogba is only looking to sign a new deal with Manchester United to keep his payment up, keep his valuation up. Man United want to keep his valuation up. He wants to maybe get a slight increase in pay. Mino Raiola wants a little bit of a signing on fee. And then in the summer of 2022, he's likely to leave and Man United get a large lump sum of money. Well, do you know what? If that's worst case scenario, then I'll take it. If that's worst case scenario, then I'm taking it, because at least we recoup money. at least we get more bang for our buck. Doesn't mean the Glazers are going to spend it particularly well, but it still may be the best option that we have available to us. And sometimes you have to look beyond. You have to look into what is the best you can salvage from a particular situation. I think that is important. There we go. Bear me a second, peeps. I'm just checking one little thing here. Okay, cool. Let's do some more of your comments. Morning, David. Hope you're well. Actually, you're calling out other people saying good morning. Simon says that's good news. If it happens, if the club were to sign Haaland and Sancho in the summer, we would keep Pogba. We can push onwards and go to that next level. If I'm being honest with you, mate, I don't see us signing Haaland and Sancho. I'm not even sure if Sancho is going to come. Got a video dropping later. We spoke with. He doesn't like to call himself a football agent, but he's definitely a sports agent. He's definitely well immersed in the sort of the legal and commercial side of the sport. And we had a great conversation yesterday. His thoughts on Sancho coming back to Man United were very strong. His thoughts on Man United were also very strong. Big Chelsea news on the way today, also in relation to Haaland, and massive news in relation to Mo Salah at Liverpool as well. Stacey here says this summer should be interesting if they promise him a league title. Well, they can't promise him a league title. That's the point. They can't promise Paul Pogba a league title. That is absolutely impossible. But there is a far greater chance of winning one with Paul Pogba. My issue with Paul Pogba leaving is very simple. Very simple indeed. The Glazers are not going to replace him with anywhere near like-for-like quality. I'll tell you what, have any of you ever made an insurance claim? Have any of you ever had to claim on your insurance before? If you have, I'll give you an example of how the Glazers will work. Most insurance companies, the good ones, will give you like for like. So if I buy a brand new TV today that's £1,000, it's 4K 3D, makes cups of teas. It's banging. It's the TV. Do you know what I mean? Like when I'm watching a film where it's winter, I feel cold. When I'm watching the National Geographic channel, it looks like the tigers in my room, right? It's banging. In like 6-7 years' time, that TV, it's not worth anything, right? Technology's moved on. It's not worth anything. It isn't what you want anymore. But if in my home, if my house burns down, or if I get burgled, probably a better example. If I get burgled and I make a claim on my home insurance, I get like for like. It means I get a new TV. So whatever the new top level standard is now within a particular price range, that is what I get. I get a like for like replacement. Man United do the opposite, right? It's like, oh, we're going to go find you a TV that's 7 years old, that's not top quality anymore, that doesn't really work too well, where the coloration's going. And by the way, you might not be able to find a wall bracket for it because they've stopped making them now. That's Man United. It's awful. We're going to go to your calls in a few moments' time. Keep smashing that like button. Original base, Annie, I am really good. And thank you for the first super chat. We have still got the secret phrase competition going on this week. We didn't discuss it yesterday. Had a bit of a day off, but we're still pushing the secret phrase competition. We have 2 names remaining. We're going to add 3 more new ones tonight. There's 3 words, phrases rather than names, to be fair, today. One is based on a tactic in football that we call out all the time, a tactic or a style or a type of goal that you might score. The other is the name, a nickname given to a top 6 or a big 6 Premier League manager. Get your super chat guesses in now to go into the prize draw to win £100 worth of Amazon vouchers. We're back at around 5 o'clock tonight to preview Liverpool versus Chelsea. Tomorrow evening is going to be fire. We are discussing individual goals of brilliance, individual moments of brilliance, I should say, versus system/team goals. We're having the debate. We're starting the conversation right here on the Football Terrace. So you know where you have to be. We have Tahir with a super chat here that says, Ian St. John passed away today, Liverpool legend. I'm really sorry to hear that. I didn't know. I didn't see that this morning. Yeah, that's very sad news indeed. We never like to hear about anybody passing away. And from the football point of view, in the football spectrum, terrible, terrible news indeed. That really, really is. Andy here says the Pogba deal needs to be sorted out before the transfer window because our board is incompetent and they'll spend the whole summer dealing with him and not buying anyone of class. Bro, do you know what? sometimes I don't even think it's incompetence. Sometimes I think I'm starting to believe it's calculated, right? I believe that they will try and spin. They'll try and do a bit of an Arsenal PR stunt here. They're going to try and, if they sign Pogba on a new deal, they're going to try and spin it to us like it's a new signing. It's as simple as that. And it'll like paper over cracks. That's what it will do. That is what it will do. We're going to go to your calls in a few moments' time. Original Base Annie says, is it PE teacher? We will reveal the phrases at the end of the show and the winners. So keep your guesses coming in this morning. We're going to go to some of our first callers of the day. We're going to go to Pav straight away on this one here. Make sure you call in. The link's on the Discord server on the general chat page right now. Smash that like button for us. Let's do this, people. Morning, Pav. Welcome back to the Terrace, mate. Pogba to Manchester United. Well, Pogba to stay at Manchester United and sign a new deal. That's the big rumour. What's your thoughts?
I still think he's going to go. I just think it's either coming out of the club. Someone from the club has briefed the bloke, what's his name, Andy Mitten. Spread some news because they don't really want to let new suitors know that it's some Pogba's court that he wants to leave. They want to I feel like it's kind of like the club trying to say that he's still here. We're in negotiations to keep him here. And I feel that at the end, they're just going to get a decent price for him and he will go. I think if I was Pogba, I would think I've been here for 3 years. I've done what I can. Maybe it's time for me to actually go to a club and try win a league title. Because personally for me, I don't know when our next league title is going to be. And a player of Pogba's caliber deserves to be winning league titles, especially at his age.
Yeah, I understand. Do you know what? Listen, I agree with you to the point of I just don't know where I really sit on this in the sense of the Man United fan in me is desperate for Paul Pogba to stay. The football fan in me knows this club is finished. Now, the difference between it's finished under this leadership, and what I mean by that is I see a lot of arguments about Pogba being good or bad for the club, Ollie being good or bad for the club. I see like last 24 hours, it's been everyone crying about the tactics, people moaning, oh, Maguire's a bad captain because he didn't back Luke Shaw, all this stuff. And I sit there and I think to myself, the Glazers must be absolutely rubbing their hands together. That they're systematically, and the board, which consisted pretty much of the Glazers, to be fair, they're just getting away with everything. I find it absolutely staggering, absolutely staggering that this just goes on and no one's looking at the real problem here. Paul Pogba should probably leave. It's very unlikely that under the Glazers we are going to win a league title in his career. He should probably leave. We may end up keeping him because of the financial implications of COVID, £2 billion being wiped off the face of the earth in relation to football. But he might scrape an FA Cup. He might scrape a Europa League. We might win something along those lines. But that, for me, isn't the standards that Manchester United should be aiming for. It should be to try and win leagues. It should be to try and win Champions Leagues. And there just isn't that ambition at the football club. If we lose Pogba, we're not signing a player of his quality to replace him, in my opinion. We don't have the depth in squad. We don't even have a good enough manager. Now, I don't even mean that in disrespect to Ollie. I like Ollie. I think Ollie's done some really good things internally at the club. But the way we behave is like a team that is happy and content with where we are. And at the end of the day, the board are happy and content with the position they're in because the valuation of the club continues to grow. The income comes piling in, and that is all they care about. And I think the Pogba conversation is thus. As a Man United fan, you should be desperate for him to stay because we are a better team with him.
Yeah.
But as a football fan, you should really want Paul Pogba to leave Manchester United because he's never going to achieve the greatness staying at club level at Manchester United because our club isn't in a position to do it. And I know some people will blame Ollie and his tactics, and that's fine. If they think it's purely down to Ollie, I'm done with fighting them. I'm done with fighting them about it. But trust me, Ollie's going to leave. Nagelsmann can come in. Allegri can come in. Simeone can come in. There will not be a sustained improvement with the way this club is run. There's no doubt about it in my mind.
Can I ask you a quick question, Terry? Just before I go. You know, yesterday you had the agent on, Sad.
Sad, yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything he might have said to you? Like, I know you can't talk in detail, but is there anything that we could be excited about as United fans, maybe in the summer? Is there any little rumours? Like, you don't have to say it, just like if should we get excited?
Look, we spoke off. Well, I asked him about the on air, and there are a couple of deals United are looking at which he can't talk about.
Yeah, of course.
Off air, and he told me about them, and about this is the irony in it, right? I'm really excited about the deals, but we don't have, in my opinion, this is where my stance is now. We don't have the manager to take us to that next level now, which is being even. I think Ollie's taken us as far as he can go. The point about the ambition of the club is that they're not looking if we finish in the top 4. So if we say we go on, we crumble now, but we scrape 4th, we will keep Ollie. That is what I was told yesterday, and that needs to be the biggest address. But the Glazers, it's almost like the Glazers almost don't want a manager who's going to throw his toys out. They don't want a manager that will throw his toys out the pram if they're not winning and challenging for league titles, because that isn't what they want. They're happy to be where they are right now. So then you get caught in this little paradox. Think about it as fans. Do you want a manager who's fighting tooth and nail to win a league title? On the face of it, we all say, yeah, of course we do. But that manager is going to cause friction in the boardroom. That manager is going to cause friction in the dressing room. That person's it will end up, for all the right reasons, that will end up creating a toxic environment, and it will crumble and it will fall down. Or do we settle for the Glazers standards and just say, do you know what? I'm done fighting against it now. Nobody's actually willing to stand up and do anything about it. Tweeting, #Glazers out does nothing. Green and gold scarves does nothing. The only way to impact... Do you get where I'm coming from? So for me, I sort of feel like I'm excited about these signings coming in. Is it going to change the course of Manchester United? My head says no, because we've had these exciting signings before with better managers. And I know we always look back with hindsight and say, the team now is better than it was when LVG was here. It's better than when Jose was here. But at each stage of those managers' times, we all said those squads were good enough to win league titles. And we're saying it now. And do you know what? Nagelsmann's going to come in, right? Nagelsmann could come in. We could sign 5-6 new players. And then when we're sitting third in the league and we're not quite good enough to close out 10, 12 points on the leaders at the top for whatever reason, there'll be people going, see, Nagelsmann weren't ready. This squad's
Still
good.
Be the same process again.
This team's good enough to win the league. Look how much better it is than Ollie's squad. Ollie will suddenly start being defended like I've seen Jose get defended. And it's just hamster wheel FC over and over again. Pav, listen, bro, thank you very much for coming on the show. And
no worries, man.
Appreciate it as ever. Man like Shane here says, Terry, did you ever look into how many games Pogba has missed through injury? It's worth keeping him, love him as a player, but he is injury prone. That's a really good question. That is a really, really good question. Let's go and check it out now. Pogba injury. We've got KJ coming up very soon on the show as well, ladies and gentlemen. My guy, my brother back in the house. Let's go. Injury record. I'm intrigued to see what this actually looks like. We had another guess for the secret manager name. Tapas Pulis was the guest. Keep your super chat guesses coming in, people. Let's look at Pogba's injury history. Do you know what? I mean, let me put this up on the screen properly, right? Let me put this on the screen properly. Because I think it's a problem. I've never looked at it until you put that up. Look at this. So he suffered at Manchester United 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different injuries. You can write off COVID because That is what it is. But there's been 13 injuries. He's missed in total 15, 17, 21, 31, 38, 40, 48, 57, 57, 60, 66. He's missed 66 games, which is getting towards 2 full seasons of league matches, as an example. And you can see there, I mean, some of his deals haven't been the worst. So this one now, the hamstring injury, you can actually extend that because obviously that's gone on longer than the 19 days. You know, he had a little knock for 4 days, little ankle injury in November, December. That was the big one last year where he missed 19 games. And of course, well, twice really. So he missed the first one, he missed 17 games, and he was out for the second part again. That's a little bit disingenuous because, of course, the season was protruded, but so it was 19 games. Yeah, I remember he had that the thigh muscle rupture in Jose's time there, where he missed sort of 12 games. So there's been sort of 3 bad injuries. We'll see how long this hamstring one takes, but he has had a few knocks. I mean, he has had 13 injuries, and it seems like if you actually look at it, 1 in his first season, a big one in the second year, but then it's every season it seems to increase in terms of knocks and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, definitely have been some issues there. I don't know. Terry, the Glazers aren't going unless it's 5 billion. But that isn't the point, bro. Let me just address this before I bring KJ on. It's not about thinking the Glazers are going to sell. People have got. Why is everything? Well, we can't make them sell, so let's not moan about it. That isn't true. You know, I would really quite like to dissolve the Tory party. Just would. I'd love to dissolve them. Not in acid, not real, like really, like physically dissolve them. I'm just saying I would love to make it illegal. Now, that's in my little head, in my little world. There's no legal grounds to get rid of their party. Democracy has to reign through, right? As an example. So I can want something and know that it's not going to happen at the same time, right? That's just life. That's just life. Do you know what I mean? I think pineapple on pizzas should be illegal, but I can't stop it. I can't stop it. But if we all stopped ordering it, right? If we all stopped voting for the Tories, if we all stopped ordering pineapple on pizza, it would go away, but nobody will. So what I've learned to do is accept the fact that they're here. I've accepted they're here. I don't lose energy on it because my energy will not change it. So at Man United, I'm almost there. I have little moments because I love them so much. I don't love pizza like I love Man United. I don't love politics like I like love Manchester United. But I'm accepting of the fact that, you think Pogba's the problem? You think Ollie's the problem? You think Rashford's the problem? Meh. They're not. It don't matter. Pogba could leave. Rashford could leave. Nagelsmann could come in. I told you, get a DeLorean. Go back to 1985. Get a young Fergie. Bring him in. It isn't going to change. I saw someone yesterday say Fergie wouldn't get a tune out of this squad. He would. But Fergie would also want to buy better players. He would understand in this market, more money's got to be spent. He would understand that the club would have to focus on winning football matches rather than winning commercial contracts as the main priority. And he wouldn't get what he wants anymore. It just wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen. We're going to get KJ on the show, people. Do me a favor and keep smashing that like button for us right now. Share this on your social media streams. Mr. KJ back in the house. Morning, brother.
When is it going to end, Terry? When is it going to end?
I've had enough, Terry. I've had enough. Yeah, listen, the Pogba U-turn is here. What would you make of this story? I mean, Andy Minton is fairly credible in terms of his stories, a lot of connections to the club. Do you think we will see Pogba sign a new deal? And if so, will it be to stay for the long term or just to secure his price?
Oh man. It will just be to secure his price. If he signs a new deal, it'll only be like a 3-year deal. It won't be 5 like many United fans would probably want. It'll probably be a 3-year deal to secure the price for now, tide over while COVID's here, and then as soon as things return within those 3 years, I believe, Pogba will be 29, 30. he'll be looking to leave for his last little stint in football, and try and hopefully, if we don't win trophies by then, go win trophies somewhere else when they can afford him. That's all it is, unfortunately. I don't think this is a massive U-turn of him wanting to stay. It's just no one ain't gonna be able to afford me right now. No one ain't gonna be able to bring me what I want anyway, because so many clubs are also rebuilding. Real Madrid, but look at Barcelona. I told you about the man and the corruption in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got Barcelona, you got Juve, like rebuilding. The only two teams that look like they don't need a rebuild is City. And actually, no, even City, even though they're doing well, they need slightly new pieces, new parts, and Bayern Munich.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you're right. The only three clubs that could afford Pogba and are in a position where he can go into a title-winning team is City, PSG, and Bayern, and they're three of the best. They're the three best run, coupled with richest clubs. So there are other smaller clubs that are very well run, but of course they can't afford Paul Pogba. There's literally only three places that he can go, and it's whether they're willing to pay that money now for him. I get the feeling that I think the news is true, but I think the story is shrouded with PR. So if this was Arsenal, Egal would be like, my club, beating his chest, we're back. Because we know those gooners love to fall for the PR stuff. This isn't so much a Pogba U-turn. Listening to what people have got to say today, the more I think about it, it's a case of Paul. I think no one's coming in for you for that money, and Paul's aware of that. It isn't a Man United are pricing him out. It's no one's got the money because of what's happened with COVID. Sign a new deal. We'll give you a bit of a bumper paycheck. Minarola gets sorted out, and then when the market recovers in the next 18 months, then we'll move you on. We maintain some value, so we'll recoup what a fair bit of the money that we've paid out for you, and it gives us a little bit of something in our pocket to buy a sort of replacement, and everyone moves on. And in the meantime, you do the PR about U-turn FC. That's what I think it will be in the cold light of day. If COVID hadn't have happened, I don't even think Pogba would be here now. The good news is it means we might keep him for an extra couple of seasons, which will benefit us on the pitch. There's no doubt. But again, it's short-termism. It's short-termism not from Pogba. It isn't Paul Pogba's fault that this situation's arose. It's the running of the football club. But at the end of the day, it will be right. We've got him for it. It's a bit like the Cavani deal. It's actually turned out to be really quite good, but it's still short-termism. Someone like him should have been here 5 years ago. We're plugging holes all the time, mate. Do you know what I mean? We've got a leaky pipe, but we're just wrapping it with gaffer tape, hoping that it holds forever. And
and that's true. Like our midfield,
first, and that's how I feel about it. I mean, it's just frustrating, really, when you think about it. So I can't even get excited about Pogba re-signing because I know it isn't permanent. I even feel a bit sorry for Paul Pogba. If I take away my Man United hat, I feel sorry for Paul Pogba. I feel like his career is just going to dwindle. Same as, I mean this, if we're still in this situation in 2 years' time, I will be having the same energy towards Rashford and Bruno and Greenwood as I do towards Harry Kane right now. And that's going to be leave, save your careers, go.
Yeah, no, let's just say our club is a, people like to be like, but Ollie's got a plan, look at the money we spend. Listen, it don't matter how much Ollie has a plan. It don't matter how much money we spend. This club is ran terribly. We're a mess. Look at our midfield. We're begging Paul Pogba to stay. We're trying to convince him to stay because of COVID. Why do we still have Matic in the midfield? We don't have a proper DM. We rely on Scott McTominay and Fred in big games, and those men can't pass to each other, let alone pass to the midfield. Like, pass to the forward line. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. We still have Juan Mata here. Phil Jones is still here. We're bringing Delo back for what? Andres Pereira, we haven't seen him. We haven't heard any news that he's going to stay. If he's going, sorry, so he'll probably stay. That's the covers cam gone. You know what I mean? Like, we need.
Yeah, no, I agree.
There's so many things wrong.
Do you know what?
It's annoying, man.
And that's the thing. You know what I say with social media? The last 24 hours, I've seen. If Pogba leaves, we're dead. We're finished. I'm like, we died 15 plus years ago. what I get kind of frustrated with is how everybody wants to tries to always bring something down to just sort of one singularity. Does that make sense? And I feel like, I don't even want to be rude to people. I just feel like, yeah, Pogba leaving is terrible news, but it's just another symptom of the bad running of the football club. Think about how many stars the club have signed since just since Fergie. Actual stars with genuine top class quality. You sort of sit there. Juan Mata, by the way, was one, right? He was killing it at Chelsea before he come to Man United, but the management styles and the systems that we've played haven't suited. And I don't actually think LVG used him a little bit, but I don't really think LVG, Jose, or Ollie have ever seen him as the kind of player they want, right? So there was never a manager that was like, I'm going to make Juan Mata like the centerpiece of my attack. Which if you wanted him to do that, if you'd have played him in the 10 role and you built quality, skill, and pace around him, he would have killed it in the Premier League because he had the ability, but he didn't have that, right? We signed Di Maria. We signed Falcao. We signed young players that were on the up, the Memphises of this world. We've signed Zlatan. We signed Pogba. We signed Mkhitaryan. Okay, he didn't work for anyone in the Premier League, but okay, we big when we signed him. Everybody was buzzing about that as an example. You know, there have been so many, we've signed stars. And how many have made it? How many have actually kicked on and done it? Very few. Like Zlatan, you'd say, yes, he did. And how many have stayed? You know, under Sir Alex Ferguson, barring an absolute flop job as in Varane, every star we signed, we kept for a long time. Barring maybe Yapstam, that was because of a personal issue. But everybody else stayed. You know, we're so bad. We signed these stars, and within 1-2 years, they're gone. Pogba's lasted a little bit longer. There's no doubt about that. So he's done okay. But this is why I get annoyed that people want to focus on one thing. Pogba leaving, that's it, it's over. Ollie's here, that's it, it's over. It's like, wake up, man. Wake up. Wake up.
Literally, I'm on that path of, I hope everyone leaves so everyone who's the fan of a player, of a manager, can see what the issue is. Because everyone right now is blinded by their own favorites, their own love for whoever, or their own hatred of whoever.
Yeah.
When Ollie's gone, I hope these Ollie outers and these Ollie inners, see the issue, fam, if they don't see it already. When Pogba leaves, I hope the Pogba inners and the Pogba outers see the real issue if they don't realise. Rashford, Bruno, Martial, Greenwood, whoever you love, part of me is like, yo, I hope they I hope they go so everyone can realise what on earth is going on at this football club. Because there's too many agendas. There's too many, I love this player more than the club, or more than how much I despise the Glazers. There's too many, I despise this person more than I despise the Glazers. These men get away with absolute murder. I can guarantee you, we could go into liquidation and people will still find a way to blame the manager or a player and not who owns us. Like,
it's so true. I remember, do you know what? When Portsmouth got into trouble, I always remember listening to Talk Sport and some Portsmouth fans phoning up, blaming Redknapp, saying Redknapp overspent, Redknapp did this, Redknapp did that. And I'm like, Redknapp's not an accountant. Redknapp wasn't on the board. Redknapp didn't have, wasn't forensically doing forensic analysis on the, wasn't doing forensic analysis on the accounts. If he says, I want Joe Bloggs and it's going to cost 10 million and the club sign it off, it's on the club. Like, at the end of the day, you know, if Ollie, and this is what we said before, if Ollie says, I want these 3 players, right, and they're all full players, Ollie, your player judgment is shit. Who's stopping it from happening? Who with professional qualifications is stopping it from happening? No one. Why? Then can you not see the problem? No, manager then, he's rubbish. Yeah, and he's in position of power still, isn't he? That's what I love the most. That's the one I love the most. The ones where they completely blame Ollie, and I'm like, yeah, you know who's key. You know, if you scrape, you know what's funny, right? If we literally only win 3 games between now and the end of the season, but we scrape top 4 by a madness, the Glazers will keep Ollie. And as we had Saad, very well connected in football, said last night, signing Sancho, signing Haaland, signing whoever, it'd be okay for Man United. They got money. But the biggest thing they need to do in the summer is bring in a world-class manager. And that isn't to say the club is run particularly well, but it's you need the best manager possible to coach you through these bad situations, because of course, like Ollie's done a good job stabilizing things, but you just need someone better. Like at the end of the day, you could probably keep the fans a little happier if you just play slightly better football. If you win a few more of these big games, it keeps things on an even keel. But I suppose then maybe you don't see the issues with the club, so it becomes a bit of a catch-22. It really does. Keep your super chats coming in, people. Smash that like and that share button as well. We're going to take more of your calls now. KJ staying on with us. We're going to go to Joshua next. Joshua, what do you want to say, mate?
I do hope that Pogba does stay.
Joshua, young man, listen, you have to be over the age of 16 to call in, I'm afraid. I'm really, really sorry. Sorry, bro. When you're a bit older, mate, call back in and have your say. Top man, Josh. Next up, we're going to have Glazer out. I don't know what your real name is, but Glazer out is here. What you saying?
Hello. Can you hear me, Terrace?
Yeah. Are you over 16?
Yeah, I'm just turned 16 yesterday.
Sweet. You've told us.
Oh,
Go
yeah,
for
man,
it.
I've seen him in the comments, yeah. He clearly has been waiting patiently for this day. Welcome, my brother.
Yes, welcome to the show. What do you want to say?
I just want to talk about the Glazers, obviously.
Yeah, go on, mate.
So basically, I think this transfer window, what we're going to do is we're going to half-arse it like we do every time and every year. So we might get Sancho, but we're not going to get the scent about the CDM and the manager. And then the Glazers are just going to get away with it, and Ollie's going to be probably gone by Christmas again, like the Jose thing. And the cycle will continue. As you said, like the hamster wheel, it's just toxic.
Yeah. Listen, there's no doubt about it. I think we can all sit there and argue over Pogba's the biggest problem, Ollie's the problem, Rashford's the problem, this is the problem, that's the problem. But at the end of the day, there has been one consistent denominator in the downfall of Man United, and it's this board, it's these owners, you know, and there's no doubt about that. I think the interesting thing for me is, as much as I love Paul Pogba, the whole we're dead if he leaves. Listen, we've come second with him in the team and won trophies. We've finished outside the top four with him and won nothing. He's been like Pogba's been involved in our successes and our failures since he's been here, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And whether he stays or goes, I don't really see there being an overt difference in the end result performance of the club. We are still going to be an also run in the top six. We're not getting, even with Paul Pogba staying, we're not going back to greatness. And if people say, but I've got expectations, your expectations need to change, or you need to focus on the real problem, because whether Pogba stays or goes, we're never reaching your expectations. And Pogba, for me, is almost like he's stopping people seeing the wood for the trees. They can't see the real problem because they're blinded by my favorite player keeps getting shit. Try to ignore that for a minute and focus on the real problem. But there we go. Listen, thanks for calling in, mate. You're making your debut on the channel. Top man. Next up, Stacey's with us. Stacey, what are you saying?
Hi, good morning, guys.
Morning. What do you want to say?
My girl Stacey, man. Come on now.
Nah, listen, I wanted to talk to you guys about the Glazers per se, and let everybody realize, I think people don't understand how involved they are in what's going on at Manchester United. I mean, the two brothers are on co-chairman of Manchester United. That's Joel and Varane, if I'm not mistaken. Then you have, what was it? Edward, I think, is the director of Manchester United. And then you have the three other siblings that are on the board of Manchester United. And then you have Ed Woodward that they prop up there to just use him because he's just built to make money. The guy's very good at it. That's why we have advertising going out the yin yang. We literally are just an advertising club. We're never going to go anywhere right now. I've just sat down this morning and I actually gave myself a good cry because, no, I'm serious, because I realized that my love for this club have put me on a roller coaster ride to the point where you get just so emotionally drained. And that game against West Brom, that did it for me. It like killed something. I love the club. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to sit here every Saturday and Sunday and I'm going to watch every game and I'm going to pray we win. and I'm going to encourage them and scream at the top of my voice. But I'm not going to invest as much emotionally anymore, because you can see where we're going by watching what happened at Tampa Bay. It's the same thing. We're going to just go down this hill where we're going to be this top 4 team until we reach a certain point where they can't get the promotions anymore. They can't get the advertising selling anymore. Then we're going to drop down to maybe 7th or 10th and just lag and just low there for a minute. And then they're going to start pouring money to just prop it up a little bit more. And the minute they start getting money, then it drops off. That's what they did at Tampa Bay. The fact that they won this year was a fluke. Things
Thank
just
you.
went their way. It was simple as that. It wasn't anything other than they didn't have much injuries. Brady came in and they got lucky. It's as simple as that. They don't have people there who can do the scouting. They don't have good scouting at Tampa Bay. They got lucky with a certain amount of players that they had on their roster for the last 2 to 3 years. Their defense started coming in. They just got lucky. And what's going to happen at Manchester United is, God, if we ever win a title in the next 10 years, it's going to be the same thing. Luck.
Do you know what, mate? You pull on something I've said a few times recently. What's going to end up happening? Take this season as an example. I agree with the Ollie outers that that a better manager would make us play better football, and a better manager this season could have even got us more, maybe another 5 to 10 points than we have right now. I will completely concede that. I think it's a conceivable idea. However, what could have happened if City hadn't have kicked on and found this amazing form? That better manager yielding a few more points could have won a league title this year.
Right.
My view is that's the only way we're winning a league title again. The only time we're going to win a league title is if we pull off a little bit of a Leicester, where the 2, 3, 4 favorite teams that are better than us and better well run have really bad years, and we just have a pretty good year. That makes that for me. But what that will do, let's just say that's a year, second year of a Nangelsmann coming in. That'll be enough for the kind of Ollie outers now, the ones of it. I do feel a little bit sympathetic to the Glazers. They will then come out and say, "See, told you it's all fine." But for me, when you talk about where I really want my club to be, of course I want to win the league, and I wouldn't not celebrate it. But it's about sustained quality. It's about, even when we have a bad season by our standards, we're still only 5 to 10 points off the top of the league. That's where I expect a team like Man United to be, because we have the financial monopoly across the whole of Europe.
Right.
There's only 2 or 3 teams that have more than we do. We should always be up there if we're well run, and it just doesn't work that way. Stace, listen, thank you very much for coming on, having your say. Don't dry those tears, though, Stace. Dry those tears. No more crying over Manchester United. Have you ever cried over a football match, KJ?
Oh, hell no.
Not. I cried.
No,
when Beckham got sent off in 1998. I got really upset. Do you know why? Because I knew I was going to get shit at school. I had the haircut, everything, bro. And I was like, that was mad. This is how bad it was, right? Imagine a teacher doing this. I used to talk, he was the player I spoke about at school. He was when it's like when you play football at school, you take a shot and you shout the name of your favorite player when you're shooting. Like, you're a commentator, right? Everyone does them things. I love Beckham, and I would say, hey, when you're a kid, your favorite. This is why some of the YouTube debates do my head in. When you're a kid, I've said David Beckham, best player in the world. He clearly wasn't, but because he's my favorite player, you say best player in the world. Yeah. My teacher, I went to my first class. My teacher walked up to me, and I need a bit of. I'll use this because it will slam in the same way. Teacher walked up to me, stood over my shoulder, right, and then just slammed the newspaper with the bit that said like 10 brave men, 1 stupid boy, 10 brave lions, 1 stupid boy, and just slammed the paper like that in front of me, and made me look at like I'd done something wrong. And I looked at him.
You just triggered him. You triggered him, Terry. You triggered him.
Oh, I've been triggering people since I was a kid. He slammed the newspaper in front of me to make me read it, and then just walked off. And I was like, What did I do? What did I do wrong? Just because I put Brill cream in my hair, this guy was on me, bruv. It made me die. I was like, wow, that was proper aggression from the teacher. Nowadays, he probably gets suspended for something like that. But
yeah, you probably could, even though you never harmed the child or hit the child, do anything wrong. They probably would get suspended. But still, nah, man. It's all. I've never cried over a football game. I've gotten angry. I've gotten frustrated. I've gotten deflated. Well, I can never say I've ever cried. I think the most what game was there's a lot of games that have annoyed me over the years because it's Man United. I think the Sevilla one with Jose, I think, tipped me over the edge. That Sevilla game was an absolute nah, bro. I hated that game. Especially, and then my man had the cheek to come out and say what he said. Nah, listen, this is why people wonder, why do you have an agenda against Jose? That is one of the reasons why. That game flipped. That's what turned it for me. I was like, you know what, this brother here, get him gone. I'm sick of him. Get him out of here, fam. But yeah, man, we're in some next spiritual bondage, fam, with this family, bro. Like we are finished. I don't think people understand. Like Stacey said, if it's not potluck, we ain't winning nothing, bro. You know how sad that is?
Hey, 100%. It's almost like we need everything to go our way. We need City to be off, Liverpool to be off, Chelsea to be off. Like those three need to be off their game first of all, and then we need to be even better than we are right now, but just slightly more consistent. That's the only way that's the only way we're scraping one, bro.
Yeah, we might do a Liverpool, you know. We might do a Liverpool. 30 years, man. We might actually do it. Nah. Listen, you're smiling, but it's
bruv. I think about this all the time, and do you know what's going to happen as well? Like all the young uns that are now coming through on socials doing their thing. I can't wait for 4 or 5 years' time for them to be shouting at the new young ones saying, we've been here before. This isn't going to change. It always feels like it takes everybody 1 or 2 manager cycles to see the issues. Like it's a madness. We've got some more callers now. We've got Sarim, who's a Liverpool fan, on the show next. Sarim, welcome back to the Terrace, mate. What are you saying?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about crying over football matches. I've cried over 3 in my whole life. One was after the Champions League final when we lost to Terrace. I was fasting that day. I was fasting, and that was one of the best times. I thought, yeah, we're going to win the Champions League. We're going to push on from there. And this clown goes and does that.
Man said, I'm spending time with God, and I'm like, yo, it's this is our year. This is the time. Yeah. God makes it happen.
Exactly. It was great. It was a great day. I was fasting. It was easy. It was the last few days, the last 10 days, and then he goes and does that. I was in tears, bro. Honestly, I was hungry. I was tired. And this guy goes and does this.
I'll be honest with you, bro. Outside of Man United games, that was probably the highlight of my footballing life. I was in the Fan Park Live studio, me and Adam Charles. Oh,
God.
Did we? It was because it was the perfect way to see Liverpool lose because it was mainly through mistakes. And then when the second one went in, the second mistake with the
oh, bro, honestly, I was right next to. I was watching it with my dad, and I can't watch football properly around him because if I scream and shout, he's a bit like, calm down, it's only a game. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I had to go into the kitchen and start tearing up, honestly. I'll be back in a minute.
What were the other 2 times that you cried?
Oh, 10-year anniversary on the Champions League final. Because I just thought, we're so shit, I'm never going to see this for the rest of my life. And then when we won the title last season, I was like, I did not imagine me ever seeing this moment. And I was like, this is so great.
Rim,
tell my kids about this.
Bruv. I've got a question for you, right? Because see, I like how the first time round, I respect the fasting. You tried to put it on the fasting, right? But you cried 2 other times and you're not fasting. So I'm saying this is emotion here. Bro, do you cry like when Peggy Mitchell died in EastEnders? Did you cry?
Bro, I cry over everything. Honestly. I cried when Mufasa died in The Lion King. I've watched it 100 times. It still gets to me. I can't stop it. It's one of those.
We love that, fam. We love that. Nothing wrong.
God, man. People, I miss you, Mufasa.
Listen, you see people in the comments. Yeah, I know you guys trying to hide your emotions because you think I'm a man, I'm an alpha male. Yeah, shut up, bro. Listen, nothing wrong with my brother here. We love to see it,
minor, man. Everyone has to show emotion.
Bro, did you cry when Zayn left One Direction?
No, actually, that was the best thing he ever did, to be honest. Yeah,
Okay.
brother Zayn, man, go do your thing.
He's done well. He's done very, very well.
Exactly, yeah.
What about when young Jess left Little Mix? Was that a tearjerker for you?
I'm not a Little Mix fan, to
Okay,
be honest. No.
Do you cry when Noel Edmond visits the kiddies in his Christmas hospital shows?
No, but the most recent thing I cried over was When They See Us. Have you seen that program on Netflix? It was a couple of years old. Do you remember When They See Us?
Listen, I refuse to watch that. I refuse to watch it.
Bro,
I'm just angry.
No. When They See Us, go watch it on Netflix. I watched the first episode. I've not watched the other thing.
Sorry, I thought you said something about seals, like a documentary about animals. I thought you said seals.
It was David Attenborough, yeah.
I thought you meant like seals getting eaten by killer
no.
wild.
No. When They See Us, bro.
You know what?
That is the series about the young black boys getting charged.
Yeah. I watched the first episode.
Yeah, no,
I can't watch the rest
I'm
of
not
it.
watching it. I refuse to watch it because I know I'll just get mad. Like I want my mental health, and that is not gonna happen. But I understand why people do watch it. It's a very good series, and boy,
it's good. I was crying, bro. First episode, me and my missus were watching this, going, "Let's just put on some Disney." Honestly, that'll make us feel better. Honestly, oh god, it's horrible.
Some things you watch like that are I haven't seen that, but I heard it's very, very good. I didn't watch it when it first came out. I don't even know why. I only watched it maybe 12 months ago. I watched 12 Years a Slave.
That's good.
Like certain films, don't watch before you go to bed because I was just angry. The whole film, like I don't know how I got to the end. Like I understand that like the world was different back then in terms of not what people did, but why there was no one stopping it. I was like, how can that just happen? You can't just. Just looking at it just annoyed me. And films like that are crazy. I tell you, there's another film off such emotive subjects I watched. Have you guys seen the Adam Sandler film? I think it's called something Precious Gems or something.
Uncut Gems, Uncut Gems. Yeah, listen, that film is sick. That film is sick.
But it's sick. But again, I don't have. If you've got anxiety problems, don't watch it. It's stress from start to finish. I'm not going to watch it. And how it ends, I was fuming. I was sort of like, you do all this to us, all this, and it ends like that. I was fuming. But obviously,
it's chaotic. It's absolutely chaotic. But I love it. Like I was watching it with a friend, and they were saying how, why would anyone like this film? They're like, it's just chaos. I'm like, exactly. The main character is an absolute nut job. Like, yes, you know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah, when I see people live like that, those people with lives like that stress me out. But people do live that way, they're fast and ready. Listen, Sarim, you go have a little cry, mate, and we'll speak to you again.
Worries, bro. Yeah.
Take care, bro. All the best. Have you ever cried at after a sporting event, movie, soap opera? Let me know. Everyone in the comments is loving Uncut Gems. It is a good film. Again, I just made the mistake. I finished a long day streaming. I thought, I'm going to watch a film and go to bed. Then I watched that. And I'm sitting up going, you ever watch the film, whether it's a scary film or a stressful film, and at the end, you're like, I've got to stick like a comedy on or something for half an hour to like relax my mood. Do you know what I mean?
I made the mistake. I made the mistake of watching, what was it? The documentary about a single man basically grooming a family. Like a whole literally it's mad. Lost in Plain Sight or Kidnapped in Plain Sight. I watched that, and then straight after I watched the Ted Bundy tapes documentary. Don't do that again. Don't do that.
I tried watching before bed once. I watched the have you ever seen Don't F with Cats on the internet?
Oh, what? And listen, I tried to start it, and then I saw, because I thought it's genuinely about cats. I'm like, and then I started watching it. I was like, wait, where the cats from? This ain't about cats.
No, I started watching it, and then it just, oh my god! I thought about this young man yesterday. He's in the backroom chat. We'll get him on in a second. But I don't know. I watched it because a mate said watch it, and I ain't watching something about cats. And he went, ain't about cats, you idiot, watch it. So I did, and again I watched the first 2 episodes, and I'm like, I can't go to bed. So I think at that point I stuck on something that was funny. There's no doubt. Tell you what I didn't like, which I thought was awful, and I can't get into it, was the Tiger King. It was just annoying me. I don't know why. Do you know what it was?
I was only there for the memes. I was only there for the memes.
Yeah, I just kind of, I don't know. I couldn't. You know, sometimes you watch something, you get 2 or 3 episodes in, and it either captivates you or it doesn't. And I was just sort of like, I don't. In my head, I was like, I don't care. I didn't like any of the characters. I was like, I don't care what happened to that weirdo that had all those women living with working with him. You had the other dude who's I'm Tiger King, like him. I just weren't into that guy. Like think about him. You know, dirty looking people that look like they smell. I can't watch them talk. Like he looked
like it's funny. People who look like they if you shook their hand, they'll be sticky. One of them people.
Yeah. You just know, like just that dirtiness. Do you know what I mean? I just think, I can't listen. And that Carol Basket or whatever her name is, Baskin, mate, crazy as a bag of cats. Like I'm just looking at her thinking, my view was, and maybe I'm wrong, you're as bad as them. You just paint it in a different way because those cages your cats were in were terrible. I was looking at it again. What's the difference? But yeah, one of as well. Yeah, they're feeding them rotten meat from the supermarkets because they can't afford to feed them anything else. Madness. But I'm looking at her thinking, your place ain't much better. You just try and make it look like a nice way of doing it. Do you know what I mean? 13 Reasons Why. Oh my, yeah, 13 Reasons Why is I watched season 1. The last episode shook me to my core. The scene, everyone knows if you watch them talk about, I was like, wow. I got halfway.
I didn't watch it. I heard about the scene and how they did it. I'm like, as someone who studies film and someone who does like videography, yeah, you don't need to do that. You know what I mean? There are what you can show that without showing it. It's not hard. You know what I mean? They didn't need to do that.
No, I get that. It honestly, I would say it touched me for about 3 or 4 days. It was one of those things where my waking thoughts were about it. It was about that moment, right? And then season 2 came out, and I could see what was building up. You can see, and I was like, I can't watch it. So I haven't watched it from halfway through season 2. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. When Tony Stark died, when Tony Stark died,
I know
everyone shed a tear. I was pretty sad at that, to be fair. I was pretty sad.
Fair, for me, it's more of because I actually called it, to be fair, like before the film, when we discussed it with my friends, I said, XYZ will happen. So when it happened, it was more of a, you did your job, Tony. I'm going to applaud you off, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank you for your service. But it's time to go.
Time to go. Yeah. Do you know how bad that one hit me? I only watched Spider-Man a few weeks ago because I was like, no, not watching it. I can't. I didn't want to watch WandaVision because I was like, no, I don't like to be reminded that Tony's gone, and I'm waiting for one of these parallel universe stories. Like, you know, with the Spider-Man, it was like parallel universe. I was like, oh, Tony Stark could be alive somewhere else. And then it turned out it weren't. It was man using weird cameras. Let's go to some more calls next on the show. Safe is with us. Lockdown hair in play. What you saying, Safe?
Hey, what's up, guys? You like my hairstyle?
Yeah, it's honestly, bruv, you look like peak Peter Andre, bruv.
Yeah, man. Have you guys seen Homeland on Netflix? It's really good.
Yes, I have. I'm on the final season. Don't ruin it for me.
Oh, gosh. Have you seen Shooter?
Yes.
I've seen the original film, not
seen
the
the
series.
film, not the series.
Have you seen Van Helsing? It's all about vampires.
No.
Again, I've seen the film, not the series.
What are you here to talk about,
is
mate?
good.
You're not here to talk about Netflix. What are you talking about?
Well, I want to talk about Paul Pogba. I mean, it's just a disgrace that he's going to sign a new contract. He should be kicked out from the football club. Because
Kicked out?
Yes, his attitude is absolutely a disgrace. The way he acted, if it wasn't any other working employee or any other organization, the guy would be sacked. So what makes him any difference?
Why would you sack your best employee, and why is it a disgrace that he's signing a new contract?
Because how he acted 2 or 3 months ago, that he wanted to leave during the Champions League game, it's absolutely a disgrace. I mean, if you want to leave, you should leave. If you want to stay in the club, then act like a proper man. Have a nice attitude. You shouldn't have a bad attitude and affect the football club, and you shouldn't be towards your football colleagues, your players, because that Champions League game, it was Paul Pogba's fault, the way we lost it.
Wait,
If
wait,
Pogba was
wait,
positive,
okay. You just said, okay. For one, from the moment you mentioned attitude and Paul Pogba, I can't take your opinion seriously because it is well documented by people from within the club, not these random pundits that have never met him, within the club, that everyone loves Paul Pogba. He's a positive influence. Luke Shaw even recently came out and spoke about him. Ali speaks about him glowingly. Everyone loves Paul Pogba because he hasn't got an attitude. He is a professional. He is positive. So for that, I can't take your opinion seriously. But to say man,
I understand that, but
to say
the
man scored in the
every
Champions
single
League.
problem is Pogba. Why? Why is it just him? Why is it not Rashford? Why is it not Martial? Why is it just Pogba? Why can't the football club take action and sell him?
Because they don't want to sell him.
But it's bringing tensions towards the football club.
No, he isn't. What has Paul Pogba done to bring tension to the football club? Paul Pogba. What has Paul Pogba done?
Okay, he got Jose sacked, first of all.
Oh,
No,
shut up.
It's true.
Shut
It's
up.
Go to Sky News. Sky
Go,
Sports,
no, he didn't. I ain't gonna go nowhere. He didn't do that.
Yes, he
Come
did.
on.
No, he didn't. Jose got Jose sacked. If anything, Woodward got Jose sacked because he sacked him.
Yes, I know, but it was Pogba's fault here because he fell out with him.
What? Oh
It was.
Stave, stop. Whatever you partake in, stop doing it. Whatever it is, stop, please.
KJ, I'm disappointed because the way his attitude, his influence towards the team, he keeps wants to sell the football. He keeps saying, "I want to leave." In important games, his agent comes in, he causes too much tensions, too much problems. Why should he play? Why should he be in our football club?
Listen, if you're annoyed with Paul Pogba with his comments about wanting to leave, a new challenge, blah blah blah, I get that. But when Paul Pogba has played for us, more often than not, he's actually helped us. That RB Leipzig game, we didn't lose that because of Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba actually helped. He almost won because of Paul Pogba. We almost got through because of Paul Pogba.
How was it Paul Pogba's fault? Twice in the opening 10 or so minutes, balls got switched and AWB was caught too narrow inside. That's nothing to do with Paul Pogba. If the positioning from our defenders, so just that is rhetorical. We have a super chat here that I need to post to you. I need to call you Prime. Then sorry, you remind me. It says here, safe. I'll pay you £50 if you shave your head live on the terrace. Will you shave your head on the show? You got hair clippers?
Well, I don't have a shaver actually.
Oh, that's no good then, is it? We'll do it with a razor blade on your head.
No, but I mean, Terry, let me educate you a little bit here. Women love men that has got better hairline than you. It's true.
He's got better hairline than me?
Yes, because
who
men's hair in bed. So if you don't have any hairline, then they've got nothing to pull. I'm just giving you an example. Like, I'm not trying to take the piss out of you, but I'm just giving you an example.
I'm confused though. Who's got a better hairline than me first?
Dave. You
have, right? Man to himself third person. And women don't like it because there's nothing to pull on.
Yes, because if you don't have any hairline, there's nothing for them to pull. Look at Robbie. It's baldy. There's nothing for women to pull.
Yeah, but safe. Have you ever had a woman in bed pulling your hair?
No.
So how do you know?
Googled it in Google and it says it.
What? What's going on? What is going on?
I put it in Google. Do you know what? I don't know. You know, I can't even think about it. Listen, safe. You're a madman. I don't know what else you've been Google searching. Take care.
Take care.
Oh my God, man!
I've told him whatever he's partaking in, he needs to stop. Stop doing it. Stop.
I don't know, man. Man is a madness. Next on the show, Terrace with us. Terrace, what you stand, bro?
Yeah, I'm all good. Just in the office, so I thought I'd tune in and see what you guys are saying about Pogba. Really, it's I feel like he gets too much criticism, man. It's actually sickening to a certain extent. I feel like when Pogba has good games, it's you know, it's not good enough still. And whenever he doesn't have a bad game, it's all his fault. And I think it's just disrespectful because I'd take him all day. You could say some performances he should be doing more, but then you could say that for other players as well. And I'm just sick of the disrespect he gets from fans and in particular the media, because I don't know what it is about Pogba that people just don't like. If it's the fact that he gets a load of haircuts, I don't know what it is. It's just it just does my head in, really.
We know what it is. He's a black man who's very.
I didn't want to say it, so I'm happy you are.
He's very outspoken, very flamboyant, very much a peacock.
Yeah.
In British culture in general, I've not seen peacocks get treated well, no matter who they are. Add on top of the immutables that is also in play, then of course it leads to what it is. It leads to what is happening.
Yeah.
And for me, I personally, if I was Paul Pogba, I would want to leave. I would say, listen, my talent, I can apply this somewhere else where I get treated correctly. And I'm not necessarily saying about the club. The club have sold me false dreams anyway, but like even with the way the media treat me, even the way with the half the fan base treat me, I wouldn't see any point in staying personally. And people can say, but he earns so much money, why would he complain, shut up and play football? But at the end of the day, it's still human. No amount of money you can put on your mental health and your
100%.
So
100%. I feel like when he joined as well, it was didn't Zlatan join that summer and then Lukaku the following summer, and the way you guys were orchestrating in terms of your signings and everything, you had Mourinho coming in who was there to win the league. So he joined on the basis that it's a step up. I'm here to compete for the major titles, and then the lack of ambition from the board, and then the falling out with Mourinho because he didn't get the signings that he wanted. A lot of it was out of his control because he joined thinking, do you know what? I'm here to win leagues and win titles. And yeah, you guys won, I think it was the Europa League and the League Cup that season. And that was a good platform to then kick on. But then I believe Zlatan got that injury, and I think Lukaku came in that summer. And then for some reason, he fell out with Mourinho, and then it just spiraled out of control, led to Mourinho sacking.
What you just said there, mate, listen, the peacock analogy KJ gave is absolutely right. If Haaland joins the Premier League, people are not going to like him because the geezer is Zlatan-esque in terms of what he's going to say. But of course, with Pogba, he has two big immutables, which there are big proportions of the public in the UK that also they dislike. So that amplifies it. The other element you speak about there is very true as well. The Glazers' influence on the situation. So it doesn't really matter why Jose Mourinho wanted to move Paul Pogba on. You only really started seeing people turn on Paul Pogba after the spat with Jose Mourinho. Jose's like, I don't want him at the club. The Glazers back Jose or stick with the player. They stuck with the player, but they kept the manager. And that was where it all started. And it got to a point where Jose, in his own mind, he felt that Pogba was a virus. So he said Pogba was a virus.
And it wasn't just Pogba. It was Martial. It was a lot of players.
But he was wrong to do that. But of course, that situation was created. That was created by the fact that the Glazers allowed a situation to manifest because they didn't manage it well. And nearly every problem that you'll find, barring the public's contempt for particular people, the narrative is driven out of the club by the way the club is run. These things just shouldn't be allowed to happen in this way. They should be nipped in the bud. Terrace, listen, mate, thank you very much for coming on and having your say, bro. We'll speak to you again soon. All the best, mate. Super chat here from Ledge, who says the reason why Pogba is disrespected because all United fans said he's better than KDB and he's never lived up to it.
That's a small part of it, I believe. A very, very small part of it.
That doesn't. See, this is the thing I'd say to that. This is where some football fans, of course, lack the emotional intelligence to be able to understand the difference between having a little bit of banter and having a football debate. And if you do think Paul, like every Man United fan, really, if we were run well, do you know what annoys me the most? I want to see Man United fans more angry on Sunday about not getting a penalty than slagging their own team off. That's how football used to be. I want to see every single Man United fan, like I said, like not quite like you're a kid, but like put their players first. Yeah, I've got the best striker for these 10 reasons. No, your guy's good. But like, I want to see people fight in their own corner again. We've gone so far away from that now in football, where everybody's just trying to be like, oh, I just want to look like the most neutral person ever, man. I don't know. It just frustrates me. Last caller, Lamin, is on the line with us here. Lamin, what you saying, bro? You unmute your line, brother.
Hi, Terry. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Look at you in a shirt. What are you up to today?
You know what? I just woke up, and sometimes you just open your wardrobe and just like first thing you get your hands on, it's just like that's it, man. That's all we
And the
gotta
first
do.
thing you got your hands on was a shirt, my brother.
Literally, that was the first thing I got. But yeah, man. I thought I'd call in here because I haven't got a chance to call in since the Chelsea United game, yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I'm still fuming, yeah. And partly because of the results, but the other part because of Ollie's excuses, yeah. He actually pissed me off. Like, okay, it was a boring also a stinkfest. It was a stinkfest from both teams, yeah. But the penalty excuse that came out afterwards, to me, is just weak mentality. I mean, what was his plan? Yeah, his plan was literally come to Chelsea, yeah, stink the place out, get a lucky penalty, and then drive back to Manchester. Like this notion of United, basically people being against United and like not giving them penalty, it's so bullshit. It's bullshit. Everyone in the league here can see United gets a whole bunch of penalties, more than any other team. Some maybe you deserve it, but others maybe not. Yeah, whether or not it was a penalty or not, who cares? Potato, it can happen. But the excuse that he was given actually pissed me off because he was trying to deflect from the fact that he actually stunk the place out. United didn't lay a glove on us. Chelsea weren't that good either, yeah. But the fact that he came out to me just shows that he's got a weak mentality. And right now, I don't see Ole as a threat. I see Pep as a big threat. I see Klopp as a threat. I even see Brendan Rodgers as a threat. I am not worried one bit that Ole is going to win you guys the title, because to me, that is not a sign of someone who has confidence in what he's doing. He's relying on a lucky penalty to win a game against Chelsea, who is a big six team. And then because he knows that he did not play well, the team just sat back the whole game, basically hoping. That is just, you can't just hope to win a big game.
Lamin, what you said, something you said there, I'm just like, so because he made those excuses, he doesn't have confidence. He's not a top manager. That wasn't Klopp. Here's
the thing, yeah, KJ.
All the top managers do the same thing when it comes to these games and make up wildness, and you're like, what on earth? Jose is a master at it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but this is what I don't like about it though. If United had genuinely outplayed us, yeah, if you had had a goal and then that whole penalty, I don't know whether it's a penalty or not, yeah. If you had given it a goal, I would have come on here and say, you know what, we got away with it. That could have gone against us, yeah. But the fact that you didn't lay a glove on us, basically sat back for most of the game, and then he came out saying that bullshit to basically deflect from the performance that he actually stunk the place out, actually pissed me off. I'm like, hold on a minute, this guy is trying to deflect, blatantly deflect, and then using the excuse and using the Chelsea website like we were conspiring against United. I'm like, what is this bullshit?
Let me just say something about this. What Ollie did was the right thing to do from a Man United manager's point of view. He's meant to trigger the rival fans. Fergie would have said the same thing Ollie did. The problem Ollie's got is that there's a big percentage of Man United fans that don't like him either. So when he says these things, they get frustrated. When Man United got knocked out the Champions League, the Sevilla thing, this is what happens. End of the day, if you respect your manager and you like your manager and he deflects away from your team's bad performance, you back it. When you don't like him, you like, I want honesty, own your mistakes. That's what people do. But most managers don't. Pep very, very rarely will you see Pep say, we were outplayed today. We were outfought. It will be remember when he's like this two times.
Yeah.
All managers do it. All managers do it. You being triggered by it is fine. The problem that Ollie has is that a lot of Man United fans don't like him. So they come out with this weird notion that we want him to be truthful. We want him to admit when he was wrong. We want him to admit that he's not very good. It's like, shut up. Not because you're wrong. I get why you want it. But he's never, ever, ever going to do that. Maybe once every now and then, maybe. Like, this is like hunting for a Yeti. You're not going to find it, bruv. Like, very few managers do it. You should be triggered. Man United fans got to understand. The irony in it is, if Nagelsmann's our manager next year and the football is delicious, and we have a same game situation like that, and penalty, the same man saying Ollie shouldn't be moaning about the penalty will moan about the penalty. It's the nature of people, mate. He gals with, a few people. Oh, no, I'm not even going to address that publicly. Gal, what are you saying?
Yo, Terry, I want to talk about this whole Pogba thing and how everyone's saying, you know what, he came from Juventus, he won the World Cup, he's a bona fide winner, and he came to Manchester United and he hasn't done anything. That's absolute BS. Because you know me, I support France, and I watch the national team, and I watched him at Juve, and I've watched him at Manchester United. And as a player and as an individual, he's actually improved. He's added more goals to his games. He's won stuff for Manchester United. He's taken you from a team that was in the Europa League and made you guys a solidified Champions League team. What is that? A couple times running now. The squad has not improved. Manchester United as a club has not actually lived up to increasing their signings, going from getting Pogba to keeping up with the signings. Once you get a level of Pogba signing, you have to do at least one of those maybe every year to keep improving your squad, which the club has not done. The whole thing around Pogba, I'm not even going to get to the agendas against Pogba and the whole thing about how I feel like he's just being easily targeted for no reason. As a Manchester United fan, you guys should look at him as an individual and be like, you know what? Yes, there's been times where he hasn't played well, but there's also been times where he's been your best player. I'm pretty sure there's been 2 to 3 seasons. Just looking at the 17-18 season and 18-19 season, he was carrying you guys, and he played majority of those games. It's just the last 2 seasons where he's been poor. You guys understand that.
No, we can't even say that, Igal, in terms of last 2 seasons. The last season, he was injured for most of it, so he can't even play. So, you know what I mean? So he didn't even play for most of it. And when he did come back, he was good. Like, he was very good. And this season, everyone was bad at the start of the season.
Yeah.
And ever since that Champions League games with Leipzig, up until his injury, he was our best player.
No, he's still a top 5. He's still a top 5 midfielder. I don't want to hear this whole thing about he's not a top 5 midfielder.
He is. But what you've got to understand is the same reason some people are angry with Ollie is also the same reason some people are angry with Pogba. A lot of people, if we take away the people that have a problem with the immutables, because a lot of people that dislike Pogba, it's just footballing reasons. But it's because they allowed their expectations to go, oh, Pogba's come back, one of the best young midfielders in the world. We're going to win the league again. We're going to win the Champions League again. And it hasn't happened because of the running of the club. So they look at the person whose expectations they built up. So when Ollie came in and had that first, look at the people that are most angry with Ollie and then go back and look at their reaction to Ollie when he first came in as manager. They were, generally speaking, the noisiest about him. And it's more you've ruined what I thought was going to be brilliant, so I'm taking it out on you. And that's what happens here. I think this is going to work out a particular way. It didn't quite go, so I'm going to take it out on the person that I thought was going to drive us towards that success. It happens quite a lot. Ozil was a hero, become a villain. Heroes become villains a lot quicker. They actually say in life that the closest emotion in the world to love is hate. And that's what happens. People, they fall in love with something, doesn't quite go how they want. Bang, it turns to hate very quickly. That's what happens in these circumstances. There's a comment here from ITN who said, sorry, no, not that one. This one here that says, Terry is waffling. Sir Alex Ferguson would try to win, not play for a draw. That isn't my point, bro. Oh, the polarization of this country actually makes me worry. I'm not saying that Fergie would have tried to play for a draw. I'm saying if Fergie didn't win a game, he would blame refs. He would blame decisions. He would blame offsides. He would do this on a regular basis. The point I'm making to you is, if you liked Ollie, you wouldn't have a problem with him blaming. If you were happy with what Ollie was doing, you wouldn't moan about the excuses he puts in place. You don't hear any Liverpool fans going, Klopp, shut up talking about the wind. Shut up talking about cold feet. Shut up talking about these kind of weird excuses, because they love him. But if it was Roy Hodgson doing that, they wouldn't have stood for it. We don't. We always allow excuses from people that we like and respect. It's just, none of you should need me to tell you this. This is just normal. When your friend makes a mistake, you back them. When someone you dislike makes the same mistake, you condemn them. We all do it in our own way. That's why Ollie doesn't get away with what he's talking about. Lamin should be angry. Equally, though, Lamin, you should be angry. Your manager was proper defensive. Your manager changed his system. Your manager changed his team. Your manager played 5 at the back. Your manager went from a more progressive midfield to a defensive midfield to stop us. So your manager was equally as negative.
See, yeah, and I get that, yeah. We weren't that much better than United, yeah. But with the one positive I take from Chelsea is that our ball retention is good. I can see what we're trying to do. We just can't score goals at the moment, yeah. But that is something that will come. Like, and our players are just too good to not like be creating enough chances. And I have faith in our club that we're gonna get in the right players over in the summer. Our problem before was that we're letting in too many goals in, and right now that's not happening. So against a team like United, yeah, the way I see it, it's like heavyweight boxing, yeah. When you see 2 giants go at it, nobody wants to go see like just jab and run around. I want to see blood. I want to go for it really, but that didn't happen. And I think partly because of that, yeah, United just sat back and basically just blocked us off, and we couldn't like find the key, and that's on us, isn't it? And like one thing I don't get United, if you're happy with this football, just go and get Diego Simeone. At least he will get something out of your team. Like Ole is playing the same dead football, but even your counters weren't really counters, really.
Lamin, and this is so much what you say makes sense if we were run well. The club don't want another Simeone. They don't want another Jose. And I'm not talking about, they don't want another LVG in the sense of they don't want someone that's going to come in and demand more from them. They don't want somebody else coming in and screaming for improvements. They don't want somebody else coming in that's going to rock the apple cart. Ollie's a perfect fit for them. Now, some people will boil it down to, yes, man. No, he isn't. Ollie knows. I think Ollie, the same as Fergie, the same as Sir Bobby, the same as the vast majority of ex-Man United legends that either work at the club or are outside of it, know the real root cause of the problem. But rather than destabilize the club further and ruin any connection or any minuscule influence they have over the runnings or the proceeding of things, it's better to work with what you've got. Sometimes you'd rather, I'd rather these people be on the inside of the club spitting out than on the outside spitting in. Diego Simeone goes in and lasts no more than 18 months at Man United because someone with his passion and tenacity is going to clash with that ball straight away. But he can clash all he wants. He can stand on a podium outside Old Trafford and hold an international press conference condemning every action and telling us all about all the bad ways they run the club. Do you know what will happen? They sack him. They bring someone else in. They don't change their ways. Great. We have a little moment where we all go, yeah, this guy's a hero. This guy lost his job. He's not there. Who are they bringing in? Oh, Jesus Christ. It's just got Alan Pardew. Like, at the end of the day, you've got to find a happy medium with it. We had a happy medium with Fergie. Fergie didn't call him out on all their BS because he knew if he did, they'd find a way of moving him on and the club would be run even worse. You need to work with what you've got. You can't change the fact they're here. You can't. I'm right about that. So you have to... Well, you can. You'll stop spending, but no one's going to do it. You have to either adjust your expectations or work with it. Get the, they say you can't get blood out of a stone. It's pretty much true.
Yeah. Also, in terms of the game itself, this whole narrative of United parked the bus all game and it was an even game. If you look at the stats, if you look at the statistics of the game, the possession, the passes, they were pretty even. Especially at half time, there were a couple of passes out. So we had phases where we was attacking, and we had phases where we was defending. You had phases of the game where you was defending, and you had phases of the game where you was attacking. It was pretty much an even game. So I know where you're sitting because you're salty you didn't win in that. But listen,
no, I'm not even salty. KJ, was there at any point in that game where you felt like United could score?
Yes,
I felt the same way about Chelsea.
But McTominay's shot, where the ball got cut back and Mendy saves it, that could have gone in. There was 3 counter-attack opportunities where we could have scored, right? One where Bruno overpassed it to Rashford, he couldn't control it. Another one where he undercooked the pass and it was cut out. Simple pass, you should have put Rashford straight through. There was a counter-attack towards the end. Luke Shaw should be playing. If you actually watch the video we did yesterday about why Bruno struggles in the big 6 games, easy ball through to Luke Shaw to Rashford. Away, he was already away from Rudiger, didn't play it early enough. Scott McTominay squaring the ball. So sometimes chances you won't actually read on the stats that there was a big chance created. The Scott McTominay situation where he could have squaring the ball, that's a big chance. All those circumstances we should have got shots off on goal, and we didn't. With Chelsea, you had that great chance early on in the first half where Ben Chilwell drove forward, crosses the ball, amazing save from De Gea and a great block from Luke Shaw. When after that did either of your fullbacks really burst forward again and make them barnstorming runs? They didn't. Why? Because they were scared of being turned over and then the counter happening and there being nobody in the flanks to cover things. Both teams went through moments where they attacked and both teams went through moments of pragmatism. That wasn't my issue. My problem with both teams on Sunday was when we got into the crux of it and we got into the point of the last 15 minutes, neither committed to try and win. Both were like happy for a draw. But the one thing about Tuchel is there's only so long Tuchel's going to get away with that because your owners have got much more ambition. Man United's owners are happy because we stayed inside the top. You know, it was good for us in terms of the top 6 race. Listen, gents, I appreciate you all coming on, having your say. 5:30 tonight, we're live. Liverpool versus Chelsea preview on the Football Terrace. Another top 6 preview for you. Make sure you're tuning in here. Smash that like and that share button. KJ, Lamin, of course, Igal, thank you all for coming on.
No problem.
Goodbye, God bless.
All
And
right,
we'll
man.
see you all again.